Okay, fat digestion. So fats, we'll look at fats in terms of triglycerides. And triglycerides, as you know, is a glycerol molecule attached to 3 fatty acids. This is a triglyceride. And so lipase is the only enzyme that breaks down fat. Not as many as carbohydrates or proteins, but lipase enzyme. So in this case, lipase is made by 3 sources, made by the tongue, by the stomach, and by the pancreas. So this begins in the stomach. In the stomach, your gastric lipase and your lingual lipase. So gastric and lingual lipase both will attack triglycerides to break a bond here and here. So when these two enzymes attack triglycerides, you get a monoglyceride, which is just, carbon, carbon, carbon with 1 fatty acid here. This is the monoglyceride plus free fatty acids. This is what occurs when lipase breaks down your fats. It gets you a monoglyceride plus 2 fatty acids there. So this happens in the stomach, but this is only enough to digest around 10 to 15% of all the fat. The rest of the fat will make it down to the small intestine, where again, in this case, you have your pancreatic lipase. Again, will pop in and break down this. Break down that triglyceride again into a monoglyceride plus 2 fatty acids, 2 free fatty acids. That's lipase's job, there and there. So now you have these monoglycerides and fatty acids hanging out inside the small intestine. Okay, so this is the remainder of the fat is broken down by your pancreatic lipase. So now in the small intestine, you're going to have you have, let's draw first a villus. This is the villus. Then you have these cells. Okay, these are this is your absorptive cell of a villus. So you have on here your fatty acids and monoglycerides will be picked up by a bile component called a micelle. And the micelle's job is to transport the fats over to your absorptive cells and to drop them off. And the micelle will go back to get some more. So it will drop off your fatty acids and the monoglyceride. And then once it's in the absorptive cell, it will be reassembled back into triglycerides by the smooth ER. And then it will be packaged into things called chylomicrons. These are chylomicrons. And they're made so by the Golgi, by your Golgi apparatus inside of the absorptive cells. And once the fat is put into protein shells called chylomicrons, then the fat is secreted into the core of the villus, where it's absorbed into your lacteals. So now your triglyceride is now into lacteals. So first you break it down out here by lipase, remake it in the absorptive cells, then push it, then attach it to a protein coat, and push it into your lacteals. And then from here, the fat then goes into your, again, subclavian vein eventually. So let's talk about it again. So your fats are attacked by lipases in the stomach and in the small intestine to get your monoglycerides and your fatty acids. Then those components are picked up by micelles, which are made by the bile. The micelles, and the reason why they need to be picked up is because they're fatty and they can't travel in liquid. They get stuck. So micelles cover them, transport them over to your absorptive cells of the villus, and then we'll release them into the cells. Then once they're in the cells, they're remade back into triglycerides by your smooth ER, and then they're packaged by the Golgi into things called chylomicrons. And then the fat is secreted into the core of the villus where it enters the lacteals to then travel through your lymphatic system and to eventually make its way into your blood by flowing into your subclavian vein, which then takes it into your brachiocephalic vein, into your SVC, into the heart. Okay, so that is how your fats are handled. And while we're here, let's continue and look at your nucleic acids. So nucleic acids are also broken down, and this is done only in the small intestine. So nucleic acids. Nucleic acids. So it's DNA. So your DNA is broken down into DNA nucleotides. Okay, by an enzyme called deoxyribonuclease. It's an enzyme that's made directly by the pancreas. Your RNA is broken down into RNA nucleotides. Okay, by enzyme called ribonuclease. So it only happens in the small intestine, nothing in the mouth or stomach. Okay, and then you have brush-border enzymes. So you have a brush-border enzyme called phosphatase. This brush-border enzyme, its job is to break the phosphate bond. Okay. There's another brush-border enzyme called your nucleosidase. It's also a brush-border enzyme. That enzyme is to break off this part. Okay. So at the end of the day, you'll have phosphate, a sugar, and a base separated from each other. Then these are absorbed into the capillaries of your villus. And that's how your nucleic acids gets broken down by DNAs and RNAs in the small intestine, followed by your phosphatases and your nucleosidases to get your component parts, which are then absorbed as individual parts into the blood. Okay, that's it. So we'll stop there.